Welcome to BCFS HHS Human Trafficking Interdiction Program's Volunteer Hotline Training. Welcome, everyone. As we dive into our training, we start with the Hotline Volunteer Protocol. This document isn't just a set of rules, it's the framework that ensures our 24/7 coverage remains seamless and effective. Specifically, this protocol governs how we manage calls after regular business hours for our two primary human trafficking interdiction programs, Common Thread and Building Bridges Against Trafficking, also known as BBAT. Our volunteers are the backbone of this after-hours support, providing a lifeline when our main offices are closed. So what does your role look like when you're on the line? Each program hotline serves as a vital hub for three main functions. Information, providing callers with accurate details about our specific programs. Resources and referrals, guiding callers towards the help they need, whether that's internal or external. Active transfers. This is perhaps the most critical piece. You are responsible for identifying the nature of the call and transferring it appropriately, whether that is crisis response for immediate emergencies or intake services for those looking to enter our programs. You are the navigator helping people find their way through a very difficult time. You'll notice a specific constraint at the bottom of the slide. Volunteers may only volunteer for one hotline per shift. While we deeply appreciate the passion and dedication of our team members who want to help across all areas, this rule is in place for two reasons. First, clarity and focus. Each program, Common Thread and BBAT, has its own unique nuances and referral paths. By focusing on just one hotline during your shift, you ensure that every caller receives your undivided attention and that the most accurate information possible without the risk of crossing wires between protocols. In short, your presence on these lines ensures that no call for help goes unanswered, regardless of the time of day. If there are any questions on these high-level protocols before we look at the specific intake forms for each program, please elevate. Now that we've covered the general protocol, let's focus on the first of our two programs, Common Thread. Common Thread is a highly specialized program housed within BCFS Health and Human Services. Its entire mission is dedicated to human trafficking interdiction, meaning we are on the front lines of identifying, interrupting, and preventing the exploitation of vulnerable individuals. It is critical to understand exactly who we serve through this specific hotline. Common Thread is designed to support commercially sexually exploited youth, often referred to by the acronym CSE. Our reach extends to youth and young adults up to age 24. When you are answering calls for this line, keep in mind that the survivors or those at risk who are reaching out are often in a very transitional and vulnerable stage of life, requiring a specific trauma-informed approach tailored to their age group. Our commitment to these individuals isn't just a one-time interaction. We provide a full continuum of care that starts with 24/7 crisis response. This is where you, as hotline volunteers, play your most vital role, being that first point of contact during a crisis. Beyond that immediate response, the program provides ongoing advocacy and long-term support. We don't just help them out of a dangerous situation, we stay with them to ensure they have the resources and emotional support needed for long-term recovery and stability. As you prepare for your shifts, please memorize or keep the hotline number handy: 1-888-8-THREAD, which translates to 1-888-884-7323. For more detailed information on the program's history and specific impact metrics, I encourage you to visit the official website at www.bcfstrafficking.org. This is a great resource to explore during your downtime to better understand the organization you are representing. While Common Thread focuses on direct interdiction, Building Bridges Against Trafficking, BBAT, serves as a vital care coordinator for a broader network. The primary mission of BBAT is to support our partner agencies who are on the ground serving commercially sexually exploited youth, survivors of sex trafficking, and youth at risk. To do this effectively, BBAT utilizes the Texas Model for Care Coordination. This model is designed to bring various partners together, breaking down silos to strengthen the overall delivery of services across the state. When you are staffing the BBAT hotline, your workflow is very specific. Your goal isn't just to provide information, but to facilitate a warm transfer. First, you will gather the essential details, the caller's name and phone number. Next, you must carefully listen to identify the caller's specific needs. Once you have this context, you won't just give them another number to call. Instead, you will complete a transfer to the BBAT hotline queue, where a specialized team member can take over the case. This warm handoff ensures that the caller doesn't feel lost in the system. The hotline number for this program is 1-844-843-6348. It's important to distinguish this from the common thread line, as the callers here are often partner agencies or those needing long-term coordination rather than immediate interdiction. By accurately identifying the caller's needs at the start, you ensure they reach the right experts through the BBAT team. As hotline volunteers, you may encounter callers in high stress or dangerous situations. A crisis call can range from a victim needing immediate extraction to a caller expressing thoughts of self-harm or suicide. It is your responsibility to remain calm and assess the level of risk immediately. Pay close attention to physical or behavioral indicators, such as a caller appearing fearful, anxious, or dissociated, what we sometimes call being checked out. If a caller indicates they are in immediate physical danger, your priority is their safety, which may require coordinating with emergency services. When a caller mentions self-harm or suicide, we follow a specific protocol to ensure they receive professional help immediately. Stay calm and connected. Keep the person on the line and express genuine concern for their well-being. Gather essentials. Quickly attempt to get their name, phone number, and current location. Professional transfer. Do not attempt to provide counseling yourself. Instead, perform a warm transfer to a crisis specialist or the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Inform the caller that there will be a brief moment of silence while you connect them, and stay on the line until the handoff to the professional responder is complete. For those not in immediate danger but still at high risk, focus on safety planning. This includes identifying trusted contacts and ensuring they have access to their identification and a means of communication. Finally, remember that your role is to report tips to the appropriate authorities, whether that's law enforcement for criminal activity or Child Protective Services for minors, while always keeping the survivor's needs and privacy at the center of your work. Our goal is to be a steady, non-judgmental bridge to the professional resources that they need to stay safe. As a hotline volunteer for Common Thread and BBAT, you are far more than an operator. You are the first point of contact for individuals in high-stakes situations. Whether you are speaking with a survivor, a law enforcement officer on a scene, or a community partner seeking resources, you represent the entire program. Your primary mission is to provide an entry point into our services that is safe, calm, and professional. For many survivors, this initial call is a courageous first step toward freedom, and your steady presence helps build the trust necessary for them to move forward. What does it mean to be a professional entry point? It means utilizing a trauma-informed approach in every interaction. You must be prepared to listen without judgment, use simple and non-technical language, and prioritize the caller's immediate needs, like safety or medical care, over gathering data. By maintaining a calm demeanor, you help de-escalate crisis situations and signal to the caller that they are in a supportive environment where their voices and choices are respected. Finally, it's important to understand where our work fits into the larger landscape. Our programs align with the Texas Office of the Governor Child Sex Trafficking Team. I encourage you to visit their website to familiarize yourselves with the Texas Model for Care Coordination. This model is a collaborative, statewide effort to identify and recover commercially sexually exploited youth and ensure they receive holistic, trust-based support. Understanding this broader mission will help you see how your role on the hotline is an essential link in a massive life-saving chain across the state of Texas. To ensure the safety of the populations we serve, every volunteer must meet 3 core standards. Number 1, screening. You must pass a background check, work eligibility verification, and pre-employment or random drug screenings. Number 2, professionalism. This is the heart of your role. You must be able to maintain emotional control and a professional composure, particularly during high-stress calls where a calm voice can make all the difference. Number 3, reliability. Because we provide 24/7 coverage, having consistent phone and internet access during your assigned shift is non-negotiable. We depend on you to be reachable the moment a call comes in. On a day-to-day basis, your responsibilities break down into 4 key areas. Prompt response. Our goal is to answer every call within 3 wings using our standard approved greeting. Resource navigation. You don't need to memorize every resource, but you must be proficient in using the approved directory to provide accurate and helpful referrals. Documentation. Accuracy is vital for tracking our impact. You are required to maintain detailed call logs and submit your weekly timesheets by the end of the day every Monday. Chain of command. Finally, understand the reporting path. If you have questions or encounter an issue, the path goes from you, the volunteer, directly to the program director or their designee. These standards aren't just administrative hoops to jump through. They are the safeguards that protect our survivors and ensure that BCFS Health and Human Services provides the highest quality of care possible. By adhering to these duties, you ensure that the system remains reliable for someone who might be having the worst day of their life. We continue our training with one of the most critical topics, confidentiality. In the world of human trafficking and addiction, confidentiality is not just a standard office policy, it is the foundation of survivor safety. We must educate every survivor or guardian from the very first moment of contact that they have a right to privacy. Even on an initial hotline call, we treat every piece of information with the utmost privacy, strictly adhering to HIPAA and organizational confidentiality standards. If a survivor doesn't feel their information is safe, they won't feel that they are safe. It is equally important to be transparent about the limits of that privacy through mandated reporting. While we protect their information, we are legally required to report disclosures of child abuse or immediate self-harm. Our goal is to be honest about this requirement from the start. We strive to keep the survivor or guardian informed throughout the reporting process so they never feel blindsided. Outside of these specific authorized reporting channels, you must maintain total anonymity and never share identifying information about a caller with anyone outside the program. Finally, confidentiality extends to the technology you use. To ensure a secure environment, you must only use BCFS HHS issued devices for all hotline work. Under no circumstances should survivor contact information or call details be stored on your personal phones or computers. This physical separation of data is a vital safeguard against accidental breaches. By following these protocols, you protect the survivor, yourself, and the integrity of the Common Thread and BBAT programs. Our first 2 boundary rules are designed to protect both the survivor and the program. Protect the client. To maintain privacy and anonymity, you must never share your personal information with the callers. This keeps the relationship strictly professional and safe for both parties. Protect the program. You must maintain role clarity. It is your job to remind callers, and sometimes yourself, that you are a volunteer, not a therapist, lawyer, or long-term case manager. While we are empathetic, our role is to provide a safe entry point and then hand the caller off to the appropriate long-term professionals. Finally, you must protect yourself through proactive self-care. When your shift ends, it is vital to perform what we call a mental handoff. This means consciously letting go of the calls you handled and trusting that the next person on the line has the situation under control. By signing off mentally as well as physically, you prevent burnout and ensure you are recharged for your next shift. When the phone rings, your first priority is to establish a professional tone immediately. We use a standard greeting to ensure the caller knows exactly who they have reached. The approved script is, "Thank you for calling the program hotline. My name is blank. How may I help you today?" Remember to speak clearly and at a measured pace. For someone in crisis, your calm and welcoming voice is the first sign that help is available. Once the caller begins to speak, your internal task is categorizing. You need to quickly determine which bucket this call falls into so you can take the right path. Common call types include general information, someone asking about program hours or basic services, referral or resource requests, a partner agency or individual looking for specific help, survivor crisis, an emergency situation requiring immediate de-escalation or extraction, new intake, someone ready to enter one of our programs for the first time. The final step is action. For information or referral requests, you will consult the approved resource directory to provide accurate details. If it is an intake or crisis call, you will follow the specific transfer protocols we discussed for Common Thread or BBAT. Regardless of the outcome, there is one non-negotiable final task. Document the call details immediately in the call log. Memory fades quickly after a stressful interaction, so recording the details while they are fresh is essential for the case managers who will follow up on your work. When you identify that a caller is in crisis or needs to begin the intake process, we do not simply give them another phone number to dial. We utilize a warm transfer protocol. A warm transfer means the caller is never left alone in a void of hold music or dial tones. It is a supported handoff from you to a crisis response staff member or designated intake staff. This process reduces the caller's anxiety and ensures they don't have to repeat their story multiple times to different people. There are 3 non-negotiable steps to a successful warm transfer. Stay on the line. Once you initiate the transfer, you must stay on the line until the caller is successfully connected to the staff member. If the staff member doesn't pick up, you remain the caller's point of contact. Do not just hang up. Brief the staff member. Once the staff member answers, introduce yourself and brief them on the caller's needs before you drop off the line. This allows the professional to step into the conversation fully informed and ready to help. Identify the receiver. Make sure you know exactly who you are talking to. You will need this for the final step. The protocol isn't finished until the paperwork is done. You must document the specific person on the call was transferred in your call log. This creates a clear paper trail of the care provided and ensures that if there are any issues later, we can trace exactly where the handoff occurred. This protocol is our way of ensuring that no survivor falls through the cracks of our system. When you answer a call that involves immediate danger, such as an active trafficking situation or a caller threatening harm to themselves or others, you must pivot immediately to crisis mode. Your first task is to use grounding language. It is essential that you remain calm. Your tone will set the stage for the caller's safety. Use grounding techniques to keep the caller present and focused on the line, preventing them from being overwhelmed by their environment or emotions. While keeping the caller grounded, you must simultaneously assess risk. Ask targeted, clarifying questions to determine the immediacy of the threat. For example, are you in a safe place right now? Or, is the person you are afraid of nearby? If the threat is immediate, you will perform an emergency transfer. Unlike a standard referral, This is an immediate handoff to a designated crisis response staff or, if necessary, local emergency services. Your responsibility does not end when the call is transferred. Immediately after the call is handled, you must notify the program director, their designee, or your supervising staff. This ensures that leadership is aware of high-risk situations in real time and can provide you with the necessary support and follow-up. Remember, in these high-stakes moments, following this four-step process, ground, assess, transfer, and notify is what keeps both the caller and our program safe. The primary tool for accountability in our program is the Hotline call log. This log must be completed for every single call received, regardless of how brief or routine it may seem. For each entry, you are required to record the date, the time, the caller type, a concise summary of the issue, and the specific actions taken. These logs are not just for your records, they must be submitted to the program director at the end of every shift to ensure seamless continuity of care. Why is this level of detail so critical? These logs serve as the official record of our interdiction efforts. To maintain the highest data integrity, the program director or a designated staff member performs weekly reviews of all logs to ensure accuracy and completeness. This review process helps us identify trends, catch potential follow-up needs that may have been missed, and verify that all crisis transfers were handled according to our established protocols. Finally, our commitment to excellence is reflected in our annual reviews. Each year, these protocols are rigorously updated to ensure we are meeting the highest standards of compliance and survivor care. Your diligent documentation today provides the data we need to improve our services for tomorrow. By maintaining these logs, you aren't just filling out paperwork, you are protecting the survivor's journey and the integrity of the BCFS mission. Next, we will address the essential administrative task of completing your weekly timesheets. For every shift you work, you are required to log your hours on the official BCFS Health and Human Services Hotline Volunteer Timesheet. This includes documenting the specific date, day of the week, and your exact start and end times. Accuracy here is vital for our program's grant reporting and to ensure we have clear oversight of our 24/7 coverage. Once your hours for the week are totaled, you must personally sign and date the volunteer certification section. By signing, you are formally certifying that the hours listed are an accurate record of your volunteer service and that this work is separate from any regular job duties you may have. Please ensure your handwriting is legible and that the dates align correctly with the calendar week, typically running from Monday through Sunday. The final step is to return the completed timesheet to the program director or their designee. As we mentioned earlier, these are due by the end of the day every Monday following the week worked. Once submitted, a supervisor will review and verify your hours to finalize the document. Staying on top of this weekly task ensures our administrative records remain as professional and reliable as the service you provide on the hotlines. To begin receiving calls, you must first set up your professional communication account through TalkDesk. You will receive an automated email invitation to your BCFS provided email address. Accept the invitation. Click the link in the email to confirm your account. Create login. You will be prompted to create a secure login and password. It is essential to complete this activation immediately upon receipt to ensure your access is live before your first scheduled shift. Because our hotline service requires flexibility, you will be using the TalkDesk Conversations app on your assigned work phone. Download. Locate the self-service app on your work phone and download the TalkDesk Conversations app. Account name. When you open the app, you will be prompted for an account name. Enter HTI. Authentication. The app will redirect you to Safari to finish logging in with the credentials you just created. Once authenticated, you will be taken back into the app to begin receiving or making calls. Once you are logged into the Conversations app, you are officially on the line. Please ensure your work phone is fully charged and that you have a stable internet connection at the start of every shift. If you encounter any account activation errors or have trouble with the mobile logon, notify the program director or technical support immediately. We cannot provide 24/7 coverage if our volunteers aren't technically ready to receive calls. Once a call ends, TalkDesk does not immediately put you back into the available queue. Instead, your status will automatically switch to after call work or wrap up. This is a dedicated window of time for you to finish any remaining tasks related to the call without the interruption of a new incoming ring. Use this time to finalize your notes while the details are still fresh. Remember, while you are in this status, the system considers you busy, so it is your responsibility to complete your work efficiently to remain available for the next caller. The most important part of the wrap-up phase is selecting the correct disposition. A disposition is a quick label that categorizes the outcome of the call, such as crisis transfer, general information provided, or intake started. A disposition menu will typically pop up automatically when the call disconnects. Be precise. These labels are used for our high-level reporting and help the program director understand at a glance what types of needs are hitting our hotlines. You may find that you cannot close the wrap-up screen until a disposition is selected, ensuring we never have unknown outcomes in our data. Once you have saved your notes and selected your disposition, you must manually reset your status to available. If the system doesn't do it for you automatically, you will do it manually. This is the final step in your shift workflow. If you remain in after-call work status indefinitely, you are essentially offline to the system, which can create gaps in our 24/7 coverage. Always double-check your status widget in the top corner before setting your phone down to ensure that green available light is on. When a call comes in, it will appear like a regular phone call on your work device. Even if your screen is locked, you can simply slide to answer. Once connected, the app provides standard audio controls. The speaker button allows you to toggle between the receiver, speakerphone, or a Bluetooth headset. Mute button. Use this to silence your audio if you need to cough or speak with someone in your room, but do not use it to place a caller on hold. Pause button. This is the correct way to place a caller on hold. They will hear soft music until you release the pause. To access more advanced options like transfers, you must navigate within the TalkDesk Conversations app. Click the More button to reveal hidden tools like the keypad, which is necessary if you encounter an automated menu. Most importantly, this is where you will find the transfer options. As we've discussed, you should highly prioritize the warm transfer button. This allows you to speak with the receiving agent first to ensure they are ready to take the call. In contrast, a blind transfer, which sends the caller directly to a third party without your introduction, is not recommended for our protocols. When the interaction is complete, press the red End button. Your status afterward depends on your interaction during the call. If you completed a transfer, you will typically be put back into available status automatically. If you did not transfer, the system will move you into after-call work. A wrap-up screen will pop up where you must select the appropriate disposition label for the call and click Submit. Remember, once you submit your disposition, you must manually ensure your status is set back to available to receive the next call. When you have identified that a common thread caller needs to speak with a staff member or supervisor, you will begin the transfer within the TalkDesk app. First, tap the Warm Transfer button on your active call screen. This puts the caller on hold. They will hear music while you find the right person to take the call. It is a best practice to tell the caller, "I'm going to connect you to a specialist now. Please stay on the line while I find someone to help you." Once the transfer screen opens, navigate to the Ring Group tab. You don't need to search through hundreds of names. Simply search for CT Helpline or CT Helpline Overnight Supervisor. Tap the correct group and then click Transfer. At this point, you will be speaking with the staff member or supervisor while the caller remains on hold. Briefly explain who is on the line and why they are calling. Once the staff member confirms they are ready to receive the call, tap the transfer button again to merge the lines and drop off. You will receive a notification that the call was successfully transferred. If done correctly, TalkDesk will automatically put you back into available status so you are ready for the next call. If for any reason the staff member does not answer, you can cancel the transfer and return to the caller to provide alternative resources or try a different supervisor. When handling intake or resource calls for the BBAT program, your workflow follows a standard sequence to ensure no data is lost during the handoff. Before initiating any transfer, you must gather 3 essential pieces of information: the caller's name, their phone number, and the specific reason for the call. Once you have these details, you will transfer the caller directly to the BBAT hotline queue. This ensures that the caller reaches the specialized care coordination team equipped to manage long-term service delivery. The protocol shifts significantly if you identify the interaction as a crisis call. In these high-stakes moments, you will not use a standard phone transfer immediately. Instead, your first action is to elevate the crisis via the team's hotline chat. This alert allows on-call leadership to provide you with real-time, step-by-step guidance while you are still speaking with the person in danger. Your primary responsibility during this time is to remain calm and continue assessing the situation, acting as the steady link between the caller and the leadership team. Whether you are transferring a routine intake to the queue or navigating a crisis via the hotline chat, your role is to provide that professional entry point we discussed at the beginning of this session. By following these specific BBAT and common thread paths, you ensure that every survivor and partner agency receives the exact level of care they need. This concludes our technical and procedural training. Please remember to submit your call logs and timesheets as directed. If you have any questions after this training, please elevate to the program director or designated staff member.